Deadly Gaza hospital attack has only further inflamed tensions in the Middle East. The Iran-backed Hezbollah movement in Lebanon has joined the region's chorus of condemnation against Israel. Jonathan Kersley reports there are now calls for a day of rage.
A deadly strike on a hospital sends anger through the Arab world. In Jordan, Israel's embassy the target. In Lebanon, fire burns inside the gates of the US embassy. Outside, tear gas fired at protesters. Riot police brought in as rocks were hurled at windows. Tonight, Hezbollah warns of a day of unprecedented anger. The US says Lebanon is a no-go zone. In Iran, the Stars and Stripes and the Star of David burnt. Death to America, death to Zionists, at your service, O Hezbollah, they chant. The country's supreme leader says nobody will be able to stop resistance forces. Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the United Arab Emirates and Jordan all blaming and condemning Israel for the hospital blast. Turkey's leader urging all humanity to take action. Hamas pointing the finger not just at Israel, also the US.
All those are responsible for spilling this blessed blood shed by this enemy that is violating our land and our holy sites.
Israel's defence forces posted this cartoon, and in Arabic, the missiles of the terrorist organisation. Now they are killing their children in the Gaza Strip. Russia and the United Arab Emirates want an emergency UN meeting. As America's Commander-in-Chief boarded Air Force One for Israel, he said he was outraged and deeply saddened by the hospital explosion and the terrible loss of life. Joe Biden urging his national security team to continue gathering information. On board the plane,
thus far, does he believe Israel has operated under the rules of war?
I don't think we're going to react in near real time.
Before leaving, President Biden called Prime Minister Netanyahu. A White House official says he will ask him hard questions. Joe Biden was scheduled to meet Palestinian Authority leader Mahmoud Abbas, Jordan's King Abdullah and Egypt's President Sisi in person. Now that won't happen, it's a visit to Israel and then home.
The key question now for America's Commander-in-Chief is what does he want to achieve out of this trip? It's a region where tensions are already high, and by the admission of senior American officials, this is a critical moment for Israel, for the region and for the world.
He can have a really, heart-to-heart with Netanyahu to say you've got to avoid a full-on ground invasion. If Biden can't make a difference, nobody can.
Germany's leader arrived in Israel to show support. Britain's could too.
Every innocent life matters, whether it is Israeli or Palestinian.
With the Middle East a boiling pot of tension, the US military is there, acting as a deterrence, but
There is more than enough capability to protect and defend our national security interests if it comes to that.
troubled times in a troubled region. At the White House, Jonathan Kersley, 9 News.
And Brett McLeod joins me live now from Tel Aviv. Brett, what's on the US president's itinerary?
Well, when he lands in Tel Aviv, he'll be coming straight here to a hotel just behind me. He'll meet Benjamin Netanyahu and members of the Israeli cabinet, and he will be given a briefing on that blast at the hospital in Gaza. Now, the Israeli Defence Forces just finishing a press conference. They say they have conclusive proof, that it was fired by Islamic Jihad from behind the hospital and fell onto the hospital car park. They also allege that the numbers of those killed has been inflated. Whatever the facts of the matter, Joe Biden is flying into a firestorm of anger, but he will also be meeting members of families of those who were killed in the Hamas massacre of October the 7th. Pete.
OK, thank you, Brett McLeod in Tel Aviv.